Hi, I'm Lannie Byrd, and I'd like to welcome you to Midday Roast with Team SI. Midday Roast is a chance for everyone here at Team SI to share some of the conversations we have around our office on a daily basis with everyone out there. We have two special guests today to Midday Roast. First time they've been with us. We have, first of all, Lauren Farabough. Lauren is a senior account executive with Team SI. She's been with Team SI for about 2.5 years and handles a lot of the TraDigital accounts for us. We also have Amy Turpen with us. If you saw the adorable picture yesterday, that was Amy with our cheetah. Amy is the media director for our sister company, Megan Holcomb Partners, and she's also leads the TraDigital strategy planning process for both Megan Holcomb Partners and Team SI. So I'm real happy to have two people who have a lot of experts in TraDigital with us, and I've said that like 3 times already. TraDigital, that's traditional and digital being put together, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get to it, while Facebook is building our audience, I'm going to go out and encourage Facebook to do that, and go out and open my Facebook app and find Team SI and go ahead and take the live and share it. And there we go. I've shared it. Well, my Facebook app just crashed, so we'll go ahead and move on. But everybody go in and share it, and I want to encourage you to share it. And if you have a question while we're talking, you can go ahead and put it in the comments, and we'll do our best to get back with you and answer it. Grace is sitting here behind the scenes with the camera, and Grace will holler out. So if you hear that voice from the voice of God in the background, that's just Grace. So Grace will share any questions or comments you have, but I want to encourage you to go ahead and share it so your friends can get in the conversation. So first off, TraDigital. Lauren, you want to take the first swing at the bat and explain what TraDigital is?
Sure. So TraDigital combines traditional and digital marketing. And really, traditional kind of gives you that broad, reaching the masses more, and digital kind of allows that to complement that with really precision targeting. And we like to use the same messaging, the same kind of brand consistency, same imaging to make sure that your brand is consistent across all platforms, because we live in a multi-screen world. And so we know that we need to reach people broadly with traditional, but we also need to make sure that we're reaching our target audience with that digital that allows us to kind of hone in.
Right, yeah. So basically when we do TraDigital, we're very media agnostic. So we don't prefer traditional or digital. We don't prefer TV or cable. And we like to talk more about the outcomes of what the different forms of media do. So we would more talk about video. And in video category, we use video for branding. But from a branding perspective, we have video that helps us out from TV, broadcast TV, from cable, from digital cable, from pre-roll video to video on Facebook, to video on YouTube. So we have lots of ways that we do video. Same way, audio. Audio is a little bit more targeted, mainly a branding mechanism. There are some instances we can use audio to drive, but audio is radio as well as like Pandora, as well as Spotify, so there's lots of ways for us to do audio. And we use those mediums of branding mediums for video and audio to create awareness, and then we're using other methodologies to build engagement, such as Facebook, and answer questions from a website, and then to actually convert the audience we've reached, that we've built awareness in, to actually to create a sale, to create a customer, over a Facebook page, over the website, through a phone call, or through someone showing up in a shop. And I think that's the cool thing about the process of the whole TraDigital that we've outlined, is it's all really measurable. So on the top end, we can actually start out with the impressions of how many times people have seen it, and we can actually see, oh wow, we ran a lot of impressions on TV, and oh look, that same night we saw the website traffic spike, and see how everything works together. Now, a lot of the way when we talk to people about traditional and digital, they say traditional is dying, traditional media is dying, and we don't really agree with that. So why don't you explain why traditional is not dying, Amy?
Traditional media is still out there. Everybody uses it every day. The only people that don't use it are people that sit in front of their computer and never leave their home.
Right.
And never turn on a radio, never do anything outside of their home. If you drive to work, if you drive to the store, if you go to any sporting events, if you go to any community events, you will see signage, you will hear radio spots, If you watch any kind of video, if you watch it on your television, that's considered TV. But any TV programming that is on your digital cable and you watch it on your tablet or your phone or your computer, that's where the lines start blurring. And is that TV or is that digital? Well, really, it's a combination of TV and digital. And we see those medias combining everywhere. We can more specifically target outdoor. You think of it as a really broad medium, but we can look at the neighborhoods that these people live in, and there's technology out there now that can link the people in these neighborhoods to their mobile devices, and you know when these people are driving by the boards, how often they do drive by the boards. You can geo-fence boards. So we think it is really important to have traditional and digital media work together. Every time you add a medium, you're reaching more people. Traditional is definitely more at the top of the funnel because we're creating brand awareness. We're trying to drive people to the website to create an action, to do whatever we need them to do. But without that broad brand awareness, you can't build your consumer base. You kind of get stuck with the people that already know about you. So
Right, yeah. So through frequency, which we measure across the board, and as we add different media, to the mix, we can build the frequency, and also it builds a better impression because you're seeing it on different channels, and we don't know which channels someone's necessarily paying more attention to or not. That kind of brings us the same concept of dual screens, because we may be able to hit someone with a video on the TV program they're watching, and they see a commercial, and then they turn around and see a video on the phone, and then they act as. Why don't you explain to us the dual screen concept, Lauren?
Yeah, so if they're watching a commercial on television, if they're watching a television program and see a commercial for a certain brand, then they might also be on their phone and look to see where their local location is. So they're Googling, they're looking at the listing, they're looking at directions, maybe the website to see the hours, if it's a restaurant that they want to go to, maybe they're looking at the menu. And so they're really making sure that they only saw the television commercial, but they're now seeing it on their phone. And they can also go to the Facebook page. So they're seeing a lot more digital ways to kind of connect with that brand than just the television commercial.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So basically, we can measure through the funnel and see the impressions, and then we can see someone looking at someone's Google My Business page and see, well, did they make a phone call from that, or did they get directions, or did they visit a website, all from that Google My Business page, and track the interactions back through and really see the value of that TV commercial, of those impressions created with the TV commercial, of the awareness created, and follow it back through the funnel.
Yeah, and another way that people are interacting with their televisions is through their mobile apps.
Right.
Like Shazam, there are a lot of TV commercials out there that you can Shazam the TV commercial, and they bring up more information, more videos on your product, more information on your product, allow them to watch different commercials than the one that they saw that ran on TV. And more companies are putting opportunities out there where you can link those devices to your television spots, because people, we just discussed, generally have a second device, generally their phone, when they're doing anything, and especially when they're watching TV. They're also Googling and IMDbing and all kinds of stuff. So we have to stay on the ball and look at new technology every single day and new ways that our vendor partners are coming up with to reach our audience, and make sure that we're always in front of that, or at least there right when they announce it.
Right, and really it comes down to, and Amy and I've talked about this, the attention-based economy. Where's our audience paying attention to? What's their media consumption? And so it's going back and looking at the data of who our audience is and where they're living, where their TV shows they're watching, what Pandora, what routes they're driving in their neighborhood, and taking that data and applying it back to their audience. And so we can hit that specific target audience, the consumers that your business is looking to reach. So let's make a practical example so everybody can kind of understand it in a local sense. And we'll give this one to Lauren and let her start out. But say there's a dress shop in Little Rock, in the Heights, which is a neighborhood in Little Rock if you're not from Little Rock, and they want to do a TraDigital media plan. Walk us through real quickly that process of defining who their audience is and then how we start off reaching them.
Yeah, so first we'll look at their audience, and it's probably with the dress shop in the Heights, we're going to probably look at women. We're going to look at women probably ages 25 to 50, depending on the price range, and it might scale a little bit higher depending on that. But we're going to think about, okay, what are they using every day? What medium are they coming in contact with? What media are they using? Where are they driving? So we're really going to focus probably in on Literate because we don't want too widespread. So we're going to look at probably local radio, maybe some Pandora spots in the Literate metro area. We're going to look at Facebook targeting, some Instagram because that's primarily women. So we're really going to focus in on how we can reach that target audience through traditional and digital that will really complement each other.
Right, so we're building awareness with our radio, with our Pandora, with our Facebook. So how are we going to measure the awareness, the effectiveness of that awareness? Where do we see that, Amy?
We see that when we look at the traffic to the website and we look at people on their phones looking up maps to get to the store.
Exactly.
And clicking through, searching that store on their devices. We can measure all of that and we can attribute it to when the media started. We can see bumps in the traffic to the website and all those kind of things that show that people are more interested in that store and traffic to the store.
Right.
I mean, for
so
sure.
definitely we can show it, and it's going to bring up in traffic to the store. But we mentioned two things: the Google Maps locations, Google My Business, and also websites. And those are things that are showing up in search. So a common activity that we see in this dual screen society, where you are made aware of a brand and then you're converting on a phone, is search. So talk to us, Lauren, a little bit about the steps that we can take.
Before we move forward,
okay.
We have a question from Michael from Austin.
Michael from Austin. Hi, Michael.
You mentioned the term geofencing. What exactly does that mean to people that may not know what the heck that means?
So the concept of geofencing is we're able to actually virtually draw a fence around a geographic location. So a store, a block, a mall, a stadium, and then serve ads to people in that space. And also serve ads to people that pass through that space. So you can come into that space and you can leave, and we can continue to serve ads. And so if, one example that we can use geofencing is a lot of times if you have a competitor that has a different location and a car dealership, and you have a competitor who's, people, you want to always target people who are always at this other car dealership, we can geofence the car dealership. We've also used geofencing at conferences and other events. So that's what geofencing is. Great question. If y'all have another question, please go ahead and jump in and in the comments and give us a question. Thanks, Michael. So we were talking about the importance of search and how do we make sure that this dress shop in the Heights shows up. How do we make sure their Google My Business location is correct and they can show that up?
Yeah, so we can claim that listing to make sure the information is correct because we need to make sure they have the correct phone number, the correct hours, the correct location, even the right picture on the outside because we don't want somebody driving by thinking they've missed the location. So we need to claim that through Google to make sure that all the information is correct and stays up to date if they should change anything, if they vary their store hours or anything. Make sure that their website is correct because we want to drive traffic to the website, especially if they have online purchasing through the site. Then we can really track them through Google Analytics to see if they found the Google My Business location, they got on the site, and then they made a purchase, then we can track them through that funnel and see that they took action. So that's really important when they're searching for, and that the Google My Business location will be the one to pop up.
The other thing about search, besides the Google My Business, is a lot of times I'm a forgetful guy, just to be honest. I'm in my 40s, and sometimes that happens, and I wouldn't remember the name of the dress shop, but I remember, hey, it's a dress shop near me. And so I might not search, I would search dress shop near me, and instead of looking at a map, I might just look for dress shop. So how do we make sure, if you're a dress shop, that we're going to rise to the right level in search, Lauren?
Well, there are two different ways. We can do it through SEM, search engine marketing, to make sure that we're purchasing those keywords that people might be searching for, such as dress shop near me, local dress store, local clothing store, any of those keywords that people might be searching for. We can see those most common search terms and make sure that we've got those covered with search engine marketing, so we have ads popping up at the top of Google results. But we can also do that through SEO, and that's making sure that the content on our website has the appropriate keywords that we're showing organically on Google at the top.
Okay, So basically, we've ran an ad campaign. We ran Pandora. People searched for the map. They ended up coming to visit. They made sales. How do we, in the end, Amy, look at a traditional campaign and say it worked or it didn't work, or how do we optimize that? Is that a process? Do we just run it and let it go, or is there a process of measuring to see how we work?
We definitely measure it in every way we can. Mentioned previously is we would look when the media hit and look at the traffic to the website, the search traffic, direct search where people typed in the name of the store and went, and anything like that. We also would, if we were running a television schedule, we would post that and make sure that we got the number of impressions and the reach and frequency that we were promised.
Right.
There are a lot of different ways that you can technically post a schedule or check that, but mostly it's the business spikes, the traffic to the website overall, that shows if an ad campaign has worked or not.
Right. And those are all methods of what we call multi-channel attribution, so that we actually want to actually not just give credit for someone, the sign on the door, seeing the sign. We can give credit to the sale across the spectrum, give credit to someone coming in and hearing the commercial, someone actually viewing the Google My Business, someone viewing your latest sales or something. So we're giving credit on the website, giving credit across all those pieces of the puzzle for the complete TraDigital plan. But in the end, it's people showing up in the door, which, I mean, even now that we have technology coming out with Facebook and Google that can say, well, you're this person who saw the ad, who heard the commercial, actually showed up, this phone showed up in the business. Or, I mean, even to the degree that we have some local clients that have people counters. They have counters on the door that we can measure how many people go in and out, and then attribute that and relate that back to on a dashboard with everything else we talked about, with the impressions, with the website impressions, with the Pandora, with the number of people that showed up in the store.
But it's really important to talk to the client and see what they found and their impressions of what happened after the campaigns hit, and then talk to them, talk among ourselves about how we might optimize that next time. Like, we didn't get as much foot traffic, but a lot of people went online and looked for things and purchased. Maybe there's something wrong with the maps, or just make sure that if there was any kink in the system that we address that so that it works better next time.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked the whole time so far about really media strategy, media planning, and we really didn't touch the creative side. And the creative you're running really has a big factor along the way, and specifically what specific actions and what call to actions you have in your creative. And really one of the great things we can do with the traditional media plan, when we're really defining who the audience is making sure the audience is reflective in the creative, and the audience can see themselves in the creative. So
yeah, and we don't do any kind of media, traditional or digital, without data. We have data that we get from third-party sources, data that we get from the client, data that we get from a million sources that we have access to, even just online statistics and information that we use to guide every decision we make. We do not ever just go out there and say, hey, let's just do this and see how it goes. Right. I mean, everything has a reason, and we can back it up.
You start with the client and figure out what their goal is, and then we build the personas of the audiences based off the data, based off the goal, and the whole thing, the data informs every step of the process.
I have a quote here about data.
A quote about data.
And it is, where is it?
All right.
All right, y'all keep talking.
I think this is the point we see. Do you have any more questions, Grace? Is any more questions come in?
Not right now.
No more questions are coming in. Well, while Amy looks for a quote, do you have a final comment about TraDigital? It's just so you know, Lawrence also teaches mass communications at Ouachita Baptist University. She teaches social media and fundamentals of advertising. How much TraDigital do you teach in your advertising class, Lauren?
We talk a lot about TraDigital and making sure that they know kind of those recent developments of not looking at things as traditional or digital, but looking at them video, audio. And I really try to combine the two, so it's not just focusing on TV and it's not just focusing on outdoor, but we're talking display and we're talking video. So really trying to make sure that students now get it, where they might think TV's dying, but really it's not, because you're thinking about video and you're thinking about just TV as a different format. It's video.
All right. And Amy's got her quote. So what's
It was
that final
buried
quote
in
about data?
Amazing.
Without data, you're just another person with an opinion.
That's right. Without data, you're just another person with an opinion. Just say here's a quote. Is it a quote?
W. Edward Deming.
W. Edward Deming. All right. Any other questions, Grace?
Nope.
All right. Any more final comments?
So
All right. Well, we really appreciate everyone joining us for this week's Midday Roast. And I'm going to ask you to, if you watched it delayed later.
Oh, David Monroe says hey.
oh, tell them hi.
Hi, David.
Nobody says hi to me. What
Later.
about Lannie?
Marcy likes you. You should put a like if you know Marcy.
Oh,
Aw, Maggie.
I don't know.
I know
All right.
Marcy from my hometown.
So, if you happen to not watch this live and you're watching it later on, you can leave a question in the comments and we'll respond. If you want more information about TraDigital and how TraDigital works, I want to encourage you to visit our website. We have a lot of information about TraDigital there, so you can go to our website. You could also fill out a comment form, and on our website, if you have a specific question, you want a response, and Grace or one of us will get back to you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you have a good week.